What up, everybody? How you doing? It's Mike Watson. I am the publisher of Short Fuse Media, founder of Freestyle Comics, one half of the good, the bad, and the nerdy, the most enthusiastic person in comics, aka the Super Mad Brother. Also going by Mr. Mike, Art Teacher, and my aliases just keep going on and on. Welcome to another episode of Dear Creatives this Sunday. Uh, we got a lot to talk about today, a lot to get into. And hope all of you are doing fine during quarantine 2020 from the deadly virus that's going around and causing all the fear and making everyone stay home and social distancing and changing everyone's way of life for the next couple weeks. Um, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good. I've had a wicked bad headache today. And coincidentally, it is just now starting to break. Um, which I'm excited about. I'm excited that that is happening right now. Oh, because I'm starting to feel normal. I took a nap and everything, and that's not normally. If you know me, you know I don't normally sleep. so, I will be having Christy Shin guest starring on the show today, and we're going to get into all types of cool little topics today. Talk about her projects and what she's into. First off, what is Dear Creative? Dear Creative is a show where I talk to you about my life being a creative, making comic books, freelancing, being a teacher, how I exist in that bubble of life, the goods and the bads that go with that, the failures and the successes. I tell you my story. I talk about these things. I give you week to week updates about what's going on in hopes that it helps you map out your plan better and you have more success, or you don't have to go into the same potholes that I do. But then we also talk about the things that are going on in pop culture and geek culture industry, comparing them to what we are doing as creatives and things like that, and just voicing our opinions about them because I like to talk about that stuff. I like to think that I am a not a game changer, but something like that. Yeah. I think I'm a game changer when it comes to making these comic books and things. I think of them in a different perspective than other people, and I like to put my spin on this world that we exist and thrive in. So it's been a couple of weeks off because it's all been crazy and pandemonium. We're going to get right into. I got a ton of questions to answer, and I need to get started now so I can get done in time for Christy to come on. All right, so one of the big things I was talking about was Hotshot update. I know I haven't been given any lately, but I have still been working on the book. I've been held to that standard. I am going to show you tons of stuff from Hotshot. First off, we are going to review. Let's see here. Share screen. Start sharing. And we're going to look at the second screen. Yes. All right. So let me get rid of my branding real quick. All right, so Hotshot, this new story arc that I'm working on called Unforgiven, which is all written. I am happy to announce the layouts for issue 10 have been completely done. They are going through a massive editorial session between Danny Cooper and I. But I don't know if everyone has seen these. These are the mock stand-in covers. First off, let's see here. In case you did not know, this is Hotshot. Hotshot is the flagship character of Freestyle Comics, and he is a young man in college trying to prove to his girlfriend that he's not cheating on her without revealing he's a superhero, while not getting kicked out of college because he's never there for being said superhero. This is one of my favorite covers that we worked on for Hotshot right now, the number one issue cover right now. Hotshot's about 10 issues in, including the zero issue, and we are coming out with the actual 10th, the numbering of the 10th issue, which makes that the technical 11th issue. But what I did work on or have done are the placement covers. Now, these are not final art, as these covers are inspired ideas between Danny Cooper and I for potential final covers, but we wanted to get these out here to kind of like spread that bug of, hey, look at what we're doing here. This is the cover, mock cover for Hotshot number 10 coming out with the layouts that are done here. I had a lot of fun with this cover. I looked at a lot of different anime to try to figure out what kind of cover, the intensity and stuff that I wanted from this cover, and the things I wanted to happen on here. But I wanted to be intense. I wanted to be on fire, as you can see in Hotshot focused. He is zoning in on something. We don't know what yet, but it is something. Then The number 11 cover of Unforgiven Part 2. And all I can say is this one's going to hit you in the chest. You ever fall off your bike or fall down and you get punched in the gut and the wind has been taken out from you? Yeah, that's what this issue is going to do to you. And I'm sorry, but it had to happen. It just does. My apologies so very much to you. All right, next up. Let's see. Oh, Ray McKenzie in the building. Just checking the chat. Looks like we got some people in here chatting it up. All right. Checking the comments. All right. Looks like the interns are clocked in and doing what they do. All right. So, next cover to part 3 of Unforgiven. Yeah, I had to hit you with one of those mystery covers. What's behind the door? Whose hand is Hotshot holding? What's going on right now? Excuse me. What's going on right now? Look at those dark looming shadows. Hotshot's eyes are just pinpoint orange, red, orange. What's going on this cover? Secrets. Deepness of a shadowy secret shall be revealed in this issue. Then, Hotshot Part 4, the conclusion to the Unforgiven story arc. This guy is called Apex, and he is about to be an ongoing problem for Hotshot. And I'm going to have a lot of fun with this character and introducing him and what he does and what he means to the Hotshot verse as of now. Very exciting. But if you read The Death of Superman, and I want you guys to kind of think like one of the cool things that I learned about The Death of Superman when I was, as you know, I've got this comic education now that I study comics and not just draw them or write them. I actually study them. There's this thing they did with their paneling and how they expressed action and how they used that to tell a story and stuff like that. I'm applying that same model to this story arc. So maybe you'll see the comparison, maybe not, but it's definitely going to be there, and it's going to hit a threshold in this last part 4. All right. So in case you're like, man, those books are really cool, where can I get those from? Oh my goodness, you can get those at shortfusemediagroup.com. Order your issues online. If you buy the physical issues, you get the digital issues for free. So yeah, go check those out. All right. So now I'm gonna remove that. All right. So I'm gonna give you what you really want, which is, excuse me, the layouts. Now, I'm not going to show you all the layouts because I don't want there to be any spoilers, but I will show you that the layouts are done. We'll go over a couple of them. Connecting the iPad right now. Hold up. Let's open it up. Okay. Give me a second. And I was doing so good. with the extra tech. What's up, Justin? How you doing? Let's go. New movie recording. There we go. Trust this computer because it's my computer. Of course, I trust it. And bam. All right. No, not that stack. This stack. So we're going to give it a second. It is, yeah, I said trust this computer. We need to trust it again. All right. So we're going to get this up here on the screen. Okay, so I'm going to scroll through this right now. If you guys can see this, all the pages are done. All right. This book has been completely laid out. And the cool thing that I'm really proud about this issue is there's no splash pages in this issue. All right. This is all panel for panel. I want, like, I'm playing on that panel aspect, that the way I'm telling the story here. I wanted this issue to feel like everything was stacked against Mike, aka Hotshot, in here. Um, I will show you one of the newer pages here. Let me see which one, which one. Oh, I don't think you guys have seen this one. Let me go back. Bam. All right, so here's a page. We've got some type of mech type robot construction block in the first panel, with the newscaster logo at the bottom. Then we zoom out and we see it's on the news being reported. Oh shoot, is that Alex Remington? Everybody, yeah. Some of you may know who he is. Some of you may not or not. But he's coming in because those are his robots right now, and he's being swarmed by the media. And he just pulled up to his building. They're asking him questions, and he's saying some stuff. In this one, we go back to the action. Hotshot's grabbing one of these mechs, smashes the head. Oh, something comes out, and Hotshot gets nailed in the kisser, and gets sent flying down. All right. So I'm working on these pages now, adding in the pencils. I want to give you one more. Maybe one more. For goodness, which one should I show you? Oh, all right. I'm lying. I'm gonna give you three more. This conversation between Hotshot and or Mike and his best friend Maria. I really enjoy these pages. Okay, so this is Mike. He's got his hot shot costume halfway down or whatnot, and he's digging the refrigerator for food while Maria's at the kitchen table. Comes back in, he's eating some grapes here. I'm very, very proud of these grapes. This grape eating thing right here, I'm real proud of it right now. And now Hotshot is talking to Maria, and this is one of my favorite panels. The panel right here, the bottom three, where uh, I like doing these things. I think I kind of learned this from Vic when we were first doing comics together. Is I did a whole scene for one panel, and then I broke it into more panels to kind of give your force your eye to take in that whole scene at a slower rate or whatnot, leaving room for the conversation panels and stuff like that. But I wanted to very specifically make this look like these two were in a really deep conversation while eating these grapes. Next page, Maria's drinking a drink, Mike's talking. We got Mike and Maria talking again. Next panel, focusing on Maria, and then Mike kind of like just stressing or whatnot in the next panel. And on this last one, they continue to talk. Mike's head is kind of down, almost kind of defeated, but then he's starting to put his suit back on, the mask. Next panel, he's got his leg out the door with the window up. He takes off, and Jaleese, Mike's other good friend, starts coming into the scene just as he leaves. All right, so that's all I'm going to show you. I wanted to let you guys know, guys and gals know, the book is super worked on. It is super, layouts are super done. We're into the pencil stage now. All right. All right, so I am very, very happy with this book. I think I'm doing some really strong layouts. I have talked to the Danny Cooper, who's the editor-in-chief at Freestyle Comics. I've even shot a conversation or two with Victor Dandridge, the original writer of the Hot Shot series, just to get some feedback with him. Made some edits there. I really am looking forward to this issue. I think you guys are going to be very proud of this issue. I think you're going to enjoy it. I'm definitely going to be super proud of it when it's done. And I think this story arc is going to take Hot Shot in a very, very good direction for stories that are going to make you like, dang it, give me the next issue. Give me the next one. I'm not playing, Mike. You're playing games. All right, let's see. So outside of that, the quarantine has been, changing the rules on how we do things or whatnot. I do some art teaching as well. So that has changed to, I have moved a lot of my classes online. This week I premiered a new show called Chat and Draw, where I work with, where I take an original creator of a comic book series. I draw their character while chatting with them and talking with them, and I draw their character online live while we do that whole thing. We had Chris Thomas on for the first episode, and it was great. We ended up getting Robert Nix on, who was the artist of Chris's book. We talked for about 2.5 hours. I drew them a very cool pinup that I'm proud of. That will be theirs. I got to email that to Chris. But we had a great episode, a lot of interaction and stuff, and we helped him get some pledges on this Kickstarter. So this Tuesday we'll be doing it again. Our next guest is going to be Danny J. Quick in the building, and I'll be drawing Ace Blade. Started a 3-2-1 draw class just to help parents out, give some relaxation to them, and I occupy their kids while we chat. And I do artwork with them online, and I'm starting my map to making comics 101. That's going to be part of my online teaching that I do for my classes. So definitely changing the way things work, and definitely changing the way things work and how we do stuff. Excuse me 1 second. My very delicate system, I just messed up. All right. So real quick, okay, I got Danny J. Quick asking, definitely changing the way things work. All right, there we go. Danny J. Quick asking, is there a hotshot trade? There has been a hotshot trade under my other publisher, and it sold very well. We are working on this trade now for the short fuse edition of the trade, but it will be 2, Hotshot Volume 1, Hotshot Volume 2, and we're also doing a trade for Vigilance as well. How has Comic-Con shutting down affected your income? It has not affected my income for the conventions yet. If it carries over into next month, it will, because I got some big shows next month, and that's definitely going to hurt not being at those shows. I've done some online comic book conventions, and that's a question from Andy. Andy's asking another question. You know what? Hey, shout out to anybody that wants to come over and help or online be an executive producer for the show. Because I need the help. This is a lot that we're trying to do here, and I want the show to flow. And I'm learning something new each week. All right. Andy says, how has the contagion changed the way you teach, and would you consider continue to go forward with these changes? It has made me go online, do some online teaching. I definitely would consider it. There's some of the stuff that I do want to continue doing online, but then there's other things where I want to be in a classroom teaching with kids. Some of it does work, and I have to reevaluate some other things to make it work better or whatnot. But it's definitely something that I do want to do because I am reaching more people or whatnot with it. Okay, and he says, many comic companies are giving away free digital copies of their books to help people from going crazy. Are FSK and Short Fuse actually pursuing a way to keep us from stir crazy, free or not? Yes, Short Fuse is actively trying to find a way to help people, and not only just help people not be bored, but help creators out at this time, as the Chat and Draw is a Short Fuse thing that I'm doing in collaboration with them, and we are promoting characters of other publishers for free on there while talking about their character and what that character is about. We have a couple more things that we have going on. I just recently did a discount code called Draw321 for everyone that was watching the show during my drawing session, for them to order the books and get free shipping. I will be doing more of those things as time goes on. And he asks again, which one of the kids are you about ready to string up and beat like a pinata with everyone stuck inside? We almost found out if my son was candy filled the last 2 days. My kids are definitely not used to being in the house all the time. And it's a tough little scenario. But let's just say they've all had their time where they've gone over my meter. But, you know, the love of these children pulls me back almost every time. And Tyrell wants to know, will Hotshot interact with Heroes International? Oh, yeah, for sure. Hotshot's going to be interacting with Heroes International for sure. That's definitely going to be a thing that happens. All right, we are at 4:20. We're making great time. I just want to make sure I am hitting all the questions. Before we get ready, we got about 10 minutes before we bring Christy on. Let me see here. Let me get this last one. I got another post where some people ask some questions. I want to get those questions out the way. And then after that, we're going to bring Christy on, and it's going to be a good time. It's a good time right now. If you guys have any questions, please ask away. I'll be checking the chat as we go along, and I'll be trying to answer those questions at the same time. And Here is the other post, giving it time to come up. Let me see here. Let me close. All right, too. And yes, we want to quit. All right. Reginald Dye asks, why won't Marvel continue expanding the X-Men movie series? They haven't gotten to Bishop and Cable yet. Well, it's not necessarily Marvel. Okay, so Fox has owned the X-Men series, and they did get to Cable and Bishop. Bishop was in that terrible ass movie. Wait, Fate of the Furious X-Men or some shit. Days of Future Past. Yeah, Bishop was in that. I didn't like it. If you cannot tell. And Cable was in Deadpool, and I thought they nailed Cable. And I'm not a big fan of Fox owning the X-Men and what they've done for them overall. But I can openly admit it was important for the X-Men movies to come out when they did, because they were a breath of fresh air. And even though I can look back at those movies now and see the faults in them, they were still good at that moment, at that time, and we needed them. Deadpool is excellent. The last Wolverine movie, Logan, was excellent. But now Disney owns that stuff again, so I imagine all that stuff's going to get expanded and be brought into the world with as many characters that they have there. Let's see. How do you plan to expand customer base and build brand awareness in this new economy? Actually, I'm going to leave these questions here so Christy can answer them as well. All right, let me check the comments. So let me make this a little bit bigger so I can see more of them. Again, hello to everybody. Thank you for joining us today. Let's see here. Brad, what's up? Libra, what's up if you're still here? Xander in the building, one of my interns. Daniel Caliban, how you doing? Samantha is here as well. Bobby's in the building. What's up? Maurice, how you doing? Shimbles is the nickname that Andy has for Xander. We went to Cleveland or Wizard World Cleveland together. Then we had a great time. Maurice, what's up? Ren McKenzie, my brother, everybody. What you doing, suck? Ren McKenzie wants his own chat. All right, that's fine. That could be arranged. And who we got? Hello, Justin. Just trying to see if we got any questions here. Oh, cool. Yeah, no, it's well, technically issue 11, Justin. Yes, it is. No splash pages. Nope. Thank you, Justin. I'm glad you like the pages. I need to catch up. I think I have up to issue 5. Yeah, it's a lot to catch up on, Justin. Issue 5. Don't forget issue 0. It's a pretty important issue to the series. Maurice says, that's good, Mike. Keep it up. Keep up the good work on the layouts. Thank you, sir. David's in the building. What's up? Justin says hello again. Justin was getting a little writing done today. All right, cool. If you have any questions about writing, I'd love to hear any questions about that, Justin. I know you have a different technique probably from me, but be a good conversation. Justin says, I have a Kickstarter for Red Knight #4 planned for May. I'm trying to decide if I should postpone it. What do you think, Mike? I think you definitely got to see what the atmosphere is like. But if you got the audience that wants your book, I say you still do it. There's still Kickstarters that are hitting their goals. But you got to promote it right. You got to plan it out right, and you have to have a realistic goal set. If you hit those things and the audience is there for your book, and you know you've got people that are looking forward to it, do that Kickstarter, man. All right, I got the question from Justin. I'm a little late on that one, but we got it. Cheryl, what's up? Christy is joining us. She's been in the backstage patiently waiting. I'm about to hurry and get her out here. And Andy says, is it too late to sign up for chat and draw for these creators who are slacking? Cough, cough, cough. Coronavirus. No, it is not too late to sign up for chat and draw. Sean Mack, our operations director, has set up a nice little page you can go to sign up for the chat and draw. We've got a bunch of people in there. That I'm actually going to finish scheduling out today. So I'll put that out and the Dear Creatives guest list schedule as well. Okay. And Daniel says, been working with my editor today. We got some cover ideas for issue 5, plus going over issues 3 and 4 of American Dreams. Daniel Caliban is the writer creator of American Dreams, and LaShawn Colvin has been put as the new editor-in-chief over Alignment, where his book is distributed through Short Fuse Media Group. All right. I can't believe it. I covered that in excellent time. All right. Here's another. Oh, okay. Chris has got a Kickstarter that we need to put out here and talk about. All right, about to bring you in. To bring you in. All right, everybody. I'm actually early. Oh, it's so good. I'd have to say this episode of Dear Creative is flowing really well, everybody. All right, and I'm bringing Christy Shin in right now.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Perfect timing, Christy Shin. Everybody, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, but you know how you were talking about that headache you were having earlier? I'm
Yeah.
kind of fuzzy too with that. Like I suffer from allergies, so it's like right now, it just hit right now. So I'll try to answer things as best as I can. But yeah, no, the Kickstarter I kind of was throwing at you. Actually, Sam Johnson, he started his way before this pandemic, but he's in the last 48. He's only $400 away from funding. And it was any other normal time, it probably would be done by now, but it's like he's in the UK and I'm just trying to help a friend out. So I can throw it in the main chat because I'm in the video and stuff. But yeah, if you guys want to do that, I can do that. Hi Mike, what's going on?
So, I already put it in there. I put it in our chat and on the YouTube chat. So hey everybody, let's go check out that Kickstarter. If you guys can donate to it, great. If you cannot, at least give it a share. A share is just as important as a donation because it gets out to a network that person didn't know about.
Yeah.
And I'll check it out once we get done.
Yeah. So it's like, but yeah, so it's been pretty good in quarantine. You can see my black cat back there. One of them is like lying in a bunch of paper, so she's not happy. But I was actually lucky because I finished my Kickstarter on the 20th of February. And then
I hit that goal.
Yeah. And then the thing is I'm still selling stuff because I have stuff left over, but I'm waiting until, just because the post office, for the record, is not closed in my area, but we're doing Safer at Home in LA. So even though technically I can go to the post office, I kind of don't want to go into a high risk area right now because, so I've told a lot of my backers and I've put it out a couple of times, like I'm going to wait until after the 31st to see how things are. And then if they relaxed a bit, then I'm going to go and start shipping things, just because I want to get a tracking number, and I guess I could do it from home, but a lot of my stuff is medium mail. So it's more cost effective for me to just ship it out. But everybody's been understanding, like they've just said, like, in this event, like I might not be able to have it shipped here because some of my backers want me to ship to comic stores and stuff. So there you go. Yeah.
Hey Tyrell, how you doing? Welcome to the show today.
Hey Andy, how's it going too?
All right, so we got a couple questions that were posed to us that people want some answers for, and I'm gonna hit you with them and see what you got for Christy, and we'll just take turns answering them. And after we do that, we'll talk a little bit more about your book and what you do and things. All right. So the first question is from Reginald Dye. Why won't Marvel continue expanding the X-Men movie series? They haven't gotten Bishop and Cable yet.
For me personally, I think they're probably trying to work out how they're going to do the two universes, because when you have the Avengers, they had Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, but they weren't quite mutants. They were like more like meta-humans. Yeah. Whereas in the Fox version, they were mutants. And then in the Avengers version, Quicksilver got waxed. I'm pretty sure enough people saw the movie. But then in the other one, Quicksilver isn't. So it's sort of like, I think they kind of have to reconcile the two storylines. I think there might very well be finalizing on how they're going to go and kind of bring the MCU and the Fox MCU and that MCU together. I'm guessing also maybe they've worked out I think most of the contractual details, but they still have to kind of work out a little bit more how they're going to do it. That's what I'm guessing. So... Yeah. And also, like, I'm actually kind of pissed how they did Psylocke, because Psylocke's like one of my more favorite. I really think she needs to have her own movie because she has a very interesting character background. But other than that, I mean, I think it's going to take time. And now what's happening currently in the world, like, that's put on a pause on a lot of things. So I think they're kind of trying to figure out what to do since they're not distracted by production itself,
Yeah, I think it's I agree with a lot about what Chrissy's saying here, but I think it's a lot to do with it's two big ass stories that they have to work out. They have to figure out how they're going to introduce it. Obviously, the MCU is going to take the lead in the stories. That's the established universe. They're trying to figure out how they're going to fit that stuff in there. But like I said earlier, Fox did get the cable in the Deadpool movies, and I thought they did a great job on cable in those Deadpool films.
Yeah, they did.
They did get to Bishop in the X-Men movies, which was what was it again?
Days of Future Past,
which I freaking hate that movie with every fiber of my being. But
they cheated me out of Psylocke. I was pissed, so don't worry. I didn't really watch it. It's just like I was like all set to watch it. I was hyped. I was like, I'm gonna watch this shit, and then it's like, oh, she was on there for 30 seconds. I'm like, I hate you.
Because they got a good actress to be Psylocke. They stayed faithful to her costume. And she was like, I was very excited to see what they would do with her, and I was disappointed as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I agree. She does have a very interesting backstory. Like, there's tons of stuff you can do with a really dope Psylocke movie. Next question comes from CL Bedell. How do you plan to expand customer base and build brand awareness in this new economy that is less dependent on comic shops and conventions? I know cons will return eventually. What is your plan for new customer acquisition? Let you take that question first, Christy.
Well, I think it's like people think it's kind of like the whole underpants gnome thing on South Park, like get underpants, make money. Somehow that'll work. I think people are like that with the internet. And the thing is that with the internet, what you kind of have to worry about is that you put your stuff out there, but are you doing a strategic targeting for each one? Like you have your fans for this show here that you built up. I have my fans for the show that I build up through Lunch Hour. I have the fans that I built up through the Lunch Hour through Kickstarter, and they kind of gloss into each other. So how you reach it is you make these little microverses or microcosms, and you keep putting it out there, and you keep putting out there consistently. And I would say, like, yes, you use hashtags that are popular, but also use hashtags that you are making up yourself, and you build it up over a period of time. So if people really wanted to search you, they find all your stuff right there too. So you kind of have to max that in. You have to engage your audience. Like I do it on Facebook primarily, but I also do it through my streaming as well. We talked a little bit about that, some shop earlier, but you know, you do that, you interact with them, and you just do it consistently enough so people know when to do it. And you can just do it at a time when you can. Ideally at a time where you can have a lot of people, but just if people know where to go for you for a time, then they'll do it. And if you do it across platform, that even makes it better. But it takes time. You got to really take time. And it's kind of like I came into it with no expectations. Yeah, they did host Psylocke Bad, Andy. I was pissed about that. But going back, I'm just taking a quick look at the comments on the Facebook chat. But yeah, I mean, it's just that it just takes persistence. Kickstarter is like the best way that I've been able to do it right now centrally with a combination of Facebook, but that's like more of an easier platform. Like here I'm pitching and I need to have money. So luckily for me with my Kickstarter, when I funded in February, I plan a little bit more out. Like I plan 2 months out. So the latest delivery time for everything would be probably in May. So I think that's good. So right now, at least I'm glad I didn't all compound it in March because I print a lot through KDP and it was on Kindle Direct Publishing. Now people, they debate about it. They tell me, oh, well, you know, you should do it overseas. I said, well, no, the overseas thing is boned now. I mean, you can still get shipments from China and other places, but it's restricted. It's harder, you know. Number two, like there's always been an issue even before this, like of quality control and supply chain and delays. And with Amazon, at least it's like they have a wide enough system. And also I don't need to store it somewhere. So I'm saving money on storage. I just pay a little more per book. And then like for the customer service of the books, I usually, if there's an issue with the printing, I just go back to them and they say, okay, we'll refund you or whatever. They're pretty quick about it instead of haggling back and forth all the time with some other publishers. Now, I'm not saying that it's bad that if you go with another one, this is just what I've chosen to do. So I was actually lucky because when I ordered my books, because you know how Kickstarter does 14 days after, you know, you fund, they give you the money. I literally did like it a day or two after. And as they were processing midway, and then this crisis happened. And then all of a sudden they said, oh yeah, we're triaging it for medical supplies and necessary equipment. I'm like, oh shit, I hope I get my stuff in time. But it was literally a day late. They delivered it on the 20th, like they said they would. and I got it and everything. So I was lucky. I managed to just time it. Somehow I timed it all right. So it just went past all those delays.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel pretty good about it. So, I think it's just, you kind of have to hit it. Like Facebook's kind of my main thing where I talk to people, but that doesn't mean I can't branch out, but just work on branching it out while you're maintaining this. Since I do a simulcast stream of my artwork of Lunch Hour, like every Monday through Friday, 12:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I always say like, okay, and I leave it up and recorded. So if people can't make it, then they can watch it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of funny to see people like actually really get apologetic to you. Like, sorry, I couldn't make it. I'm sorry, I couldn't make it. I'm like, it's fine. Life is life. You just watch it and record it. I mean, I tease some of the people that come on like, oh, you're on now, right? But I mean, they know I'm joking. So it's like, I understand life as much as anything else. So, but it's just, you keep pushing. You just keep not necessarily pushing. You just kind of put yourself out there. Like, you're probably the second or third show I've done this week.
Mm-hmm.
Because I did another show. I do another show. I co-host another show, 1-2 Comic Talk, at 10:30 Pacific Standard Time with Kevin Lang and his son Kai. And I just happened to end up doing that after doing the Artist Alley, and then I just kind of ended up as being a regular. So, that's another show I'm doing as well. So it's like consistently, and then their fandom interacts with mine, and they subscribe to mine. So it's sort of right now, it's sort of, I think, seeding your presence at this moment. It's hard because, like, I know people want to make money. They don't know where the heck anything is going, but at least in the state of California, we have 100% unemployment. So we're good there. We've got that check that they signed for everybody for the CARES Act plus their kids. A lot of landlords and a lot of bill collectors are willing to like give you a bit of a leeway. I mean, you still got to pay them, but it's a little bit of a leeway. So you have a little bit of time to work with. So I think for right now, it's seeding time. It may change later, but it's seeding time. Like, do your creative stuff, make your online presence known. It may not be like skyrocketing right now. I mean, don't expect it to be, but it will grow if you keep doing it. People have this thing that, oh, it's like going to go and blow it up and, go crazy. And it may. I'm not delaying any possibility of that, but you just don't want to go and expect, 100,000 people didn't sign up for my stuff. I don't understand. And it's like, well, okay, but it's going to take time to get there.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing that you're saying there that I immediately gravitate to is I like making my own hashtags like you. So a big thing. That's fine. But consistency is key. And I can admit I haven't been the most consistent when this show happens. Dear Creative, I do it when I can. I love doing the show. I love talking to creators. I love talking about what we do on our back end at Freestyle Comics and stuff. And building that brand awareness. I've got to move everything, like you said, to YouTube, to Facebook, to Instagram, to Twitter, and hopefully catch new fish, catch new people in that customer base or whatnot. Building my audience, the biggest thing is going to be consistent. So this past week, just like trying to figure out things like, all right, Chrissy's been a part of this for a while. I put her in the chat with a bunch of other female creatives that I want to get on the show and making a schedule so I can hold myself accountable to doing it every Sunday at this time while bringing on a new person. And she actually hit the nail right on the head, is getting with that person's audience and my audience and bringing those together and, hopefully increasing our audience together by doing that or whatnot.
Yeah.
There have been a couple comic shops that want to carry the books. I'm continuing those conversations right now, trying to make that happen. But definitely, I will be doing some online sales through the Short Fuse Media Group shops with some discount codes and stuff to try to motivate people to go there. But I'm probably going to do a video this week, just taking people through the shop. Like, hey, I don't think you know how many books that we have or whatnot. But being online, being a constant social media presence, is what I plan on, and which I've already started with. I started a couple new shows online through Facebook and YouTube. So hopefully I catch some people. But I know the thing that's going to happen, like you said, is it's going to take time. One of those shows may blow up. A perfect example, Chat and Draw. We had a ton of viewers on Chat and Draw. And then I did my 3-2-1 draw art class. I had like 4 viewers. But I'm not going to let that negate me. I'm going to keep doing them and try to build those audiences.
Mm-hmm. Well, Andy, Oh, sorry, I apologize. Like Andy had a couple of comments right here. He said the problem with Amazon is the quality is going to vary a lot. I do agree to a point. Like I'm read your whole comment, so Andy, I'm not picking and choosing. But yeah, I did have that problem with some of my books, but that's why I keep seeing them. I look through all of them to make sure. And they actually have a pretty simple thing, like where I do the barcode of the actual book and I take a picture of the actual defect and I'll do it all at once. And they've been pretty cool about that. And they send it off to me like really quick. The second thing is, how do you get others to jump on that hashtag share? I've never had anyone jump on a hashtag other than the one I created for. It's a game of chance, and it's also algorithms too with Facebook, like especially Facebook. And I'm not saying that there aren't algorithms for everybody else, but with algorithms for Facebook and anything, it's just going to be a crapshoot. Sometimes they're going to suppress them. Sometimes they're going to, hence you keeping on doing it, and hence you. Sometimes I tag some of my friends with some of my posts because it's like, I know they'll share it. I know they'll watch it. I know they'll comment and all this other stuff. So if you have interaction on your space, that's fine. Like likes are great, but I've seen people like buy a screw ton of followers and likes, but it's like they only have 4 comments and it's like, you don't have any engagement at all. It's actually trash. So it's like, and people know it's fake. So it's like, you look at a comic artist like Johnny Ryan. I mean, don't, if you're under the age of 18, don't, but he's got over like 5,000 likes, but so many people comment on his stuff. Like that's genuine. I think he's like, last time I checked, he was at 51.6K followers, but he has a lot of engagement. Like he doesn't really talk because he's kind of a quiet guy himself. I met him, but he actually like, there's like over 4,000 to 5,000 likes on his shit. And then all of a sudden it's like, people just comment and say all these things, but that's what they do. But that it involves good engagement. So make sure you build up your engagement wisely. Like, okay, maybe I have like 500 followers, but you have tons of people talk and share your stuff. That's great engagement. So it's not, even though followers is great, a number of followers, you want a huge amount, but you want a huge amount of engagement too, because I think the social media platforms are getting wise to that idea. Like, oh, you're just buying a bunch of crap. And you're just trying to pad yourself up so you can be an influencer, and you're not really influencing anybody. Yeah. So then people complain like, hey, why is this person an influencer? They're shit. They're dumb or something. But it's like they kind of played the game. Early in the game, you could do that. Could have done that. But now they've gotten wise to that. So that's why it's like, for me, I choose to engage my engagement completely organically.
Yeah. I love doing that stuff. For the hashtags, in my experience, consistency, again, doing those hashtags over and over and over again, making sure people see them. And then also making specific kind of content. Like I know we've done stuff at Short Fuse where we say, or Freestyle.com, we say, make sure you include this hashtag when you share it. So we targeted things specifically for sharing to create that engagement. Right now on the show, we're getting a ton of engagement with all the comments. We got over 18 shares right now, and that's genuine. We may only have 8 people watching right now, but there's a lot of talking happening, a lot of sharing going on, and that's what you again, to be consistent with all that stuff. What do you say? I try to make sure I reply to each comment, even if it's with emoji, a sticker, or at the very least. Oh yeah, and making sure you have to. You got to make sure that if someone's taking the time to comment on your stuff, that you comment with them. I was at a convention one time, and somebody was inboxing the Freestyle Comics page, and my intern Xander messaged me. He was like, "Hey Mike, I answered this. Did I make just to make sure he said something right? Because I didn't want that person waiting." I was like, Xander, that's perfectly fine. That's great. We don't want people waiting on responses. We want to be able to respond to them. So, yeah, responding to people is a good thing. Now, I think we have another set of questions. What are your thoughts, Christy, on cosplays at conventions?
I'm largely indifferent to them. I've had artists like really complain to me and they say, well, I hate cosplayers at them. They don't buy anything. I'm like, I seem to break all the rules because with my book, like people buy my stuff. They think it's funny or they think it's great or they read it. I think people kind of have this idea, like they sort of discriminate against other people in this way. Like, well, I don't think that person will buy my stuff. It's like, why don't you just talk to the person? Maybe they'll like you and actually will buy your stuff. So the thing is,
I love that you said that. Maybe they'll like you and buy it. Like I say that all the time.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing that bugs me. It's like you guys seem to put these like precursors in your head about who's going to buy your stuff. Like if I look at a tattooed girl, I'm like, oh, yeah, she's going to buy my stuff. She says, no, that's no, but you get an idea in a sense, like as sort of a instinct of who will buy your stuff. I've had like an old white dude like buy all my books, and my books are like raw and they're foul mouthed. I mean, let me show you one of mine. I'm not going to, but my humor is just really messed up. But the thing is that like people buy it, like people want to buy it, people want to get it. And you just talk to them and it does something where it puts in that little message of nugget in their brain and said, buy me. That's great. But I mean, I've had cosplayers buy my stuff. I've become friends with cosplayers. A lot of my friends are cosplayers. Why shouldn't they occupy the same space as I do? Oh, well, they never buy things. I'm like, I never see that. Half that shit that they talk about. Like they said, well, they blocked my table and everything. I'm like, I never get that. Like, unfortunately, sometimes in some situations, depending how busy a con is, people will block your table sometimes. You can politely ask them to move. But even then, they're just there for a minute, or you can strike up a conversation with them. If they want to go and stay, then they can talk to you and they'll buy your stuff. That's happened to me too. And if I talk to them and then they kind of go like, oh, and they walk away awkwardly. Okay, no, they're not buying my stuff. Awesome. So just take it into a moment and just take it into something that is an opportunity for you to sell. It's not rapacious. It's not vulturish. It's just like, I don't know why people complain so much about cosplayers. I mean, again, I'm not trying to go on this rant. It's just annoying to me because it's like, I've never ran into the problems that you guys have or those guys.
I absolutely love cosplayers. I think I'm a huge fan of cosplayers. I think they're awesome. And I've actually studied a lot of like popular cosplayers. I've studied their pages, their Instagram pages, their Patreon pages, what they do at conventions, and I try to apply those same things to what I do at a comic book convention. I have about 3 cosplayers that I work with who are real good friends who dress up as my characters at shows. And I have to play that card sometimes, and sometimes I hate to do it, but it works. Sometimes someone will listen to a pretty ass girl in a cosplay costume over me, and they will sell my product. I'm trying to get as many people to buy stuff as possible. And if cosplayers do sit in front of my table, I bring cosplayers over to my table because I do comic books, but I also do prints. I do drawings and stuff. So when I see a cosplayer, I say, "Hey, come here! I drew you," and I show them the character, and they may buy it. They may say it's cool, or they may keep walking. But I guess I'm kind of a person who's not afraid of rejection. I think cosplay is super important in comic book conventions. You got to have them. You should have them.
I mean, I personally, like for me, I don't see what the fuss is about. Like this fuss about being, what is it? Being hostile about them. I'm like, this is part of the comic book world. Why is this an issue? Like, oh, well, they never buy. Who comes up with that? It's like, oh, they never buy any. Like, I have never heard of that. Like, I mean, I've never experienced that. They just like, I call them over if they want to buy it, they buy it. But more often or not, they buy my stuff. I don't get it. You get what I mean? It's like people like, that's why it's like sometimes with some things that media that are transmitted like news shows or whatever, sometimes I'm like going, what are you guys on about? That never happens in real life for me. But it's like they're on about it, and it's weird, I
can sell to a cosplayer just like I can sell to some random person coming down the aisleway. I prefer a soft sales. I'm sure everybody does. The soft sell when somebody's just interested in your stuff and they come over versus a hard sell, which is someone that's absolutely no interest. But I also try to do those. Like if I just see somebody walking around, and I'm going to hit you with a stereotype, but the person who has the fancy clothes on, walking around with a beer, and is just there to go see a Walking Dead autograph section, and people don't buy anything. I've sold to that person. I may not sell to that person every time, but I've been able to sell to that type of person to get to buy my book. And again, it goes back to what you said earlier, that if somebody likes you, they're going to buy your stuff because they like you and want to support you. The key is having something that they actually like after meeting you to bring them back. And sometimes I get people to come back, and sometimes I don't. That's like the roll of the dice. I don't care who anyone. My rule in the comic convention is I have the right to pitch and sell to every single person at that show. You bought a ticket to a comic convention knowing that you're going to be walking through vendors who are trying to sell you stuff. So I have that right to sell to you. Now, whether you buy something is completely different. And I've had people come up to the table like, hey, come over, check out what I got. And I'll say, looking is absolutely free. And, they'll be like, seriously, you don't have to buy anything, but I want you to check out what I got. And, come up and look, and they'll say, I was like, all right, cool, no problem. I don't have to buy from me. But, you got to be self-aware of that and comfortable with that, too, that you're going to make a sale or you're not.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that, like, I don't take it personally they buy it or not. Like, I've had people, like, I just say, hey, you want to read an angry and mean comic that'll make people laugh? And they're like, what? And so they read it, and then they start laughing. And some people are like, well, they should never touch my comics ever. It's like, then what the hell are they going to know about? They don't know you. So it's like, here, read my book. They're like, and some people, like, again, the horror stories that I hear is like, oh, well, this person touched my book and spilled everything everywhere and everything. I'm like, what? And then, but the thing is, I build my rig so that people can set their things down, because you're at a convention and you buy tons of stuff. I have some space on my table if I can do it. Sometimes I've had to share a table and it's really crowded and okay, I can't, but I try to do it where it's not annoying. But I say, oh yeah, touch all the books, go ahead. Oh, okay. And because they're really, actually, usually when people run into my stuff, they're really respectful. They're like, oh, can I touch? I'm like, read the book. It's fine. Like, the only time I ever have any reservation, if it's a really young kid and I said, sorry, you can't read any of them. I mean, they're not like, porn or anything, but you get what I mean. It's like, it's not for little kids, but like 13 and up. So I'll tell them. Yeah. And I mean, just like to say hi to them. Yeah. Treat them like a human being, just interact with them. And I just say stuff like, I also say the pitch to myself. What I do is that it's like, okay, what would I say to a person if I had to say this 10 million times, and would I be bored? And if the answer is yes, I don't do it. So I try to make my stuff funny. And the thing is like, about my stuff is like, people, even though I was really pissed off at some people when I wrote and drew the thing is that it's enough that people can relate to that because they run into that type of person in their life, for example, for one of my books. But as I say, like, selling is not hard. You can just go and talk to people. Like, sometimes there are conventions where the crowd is kind of like, you have to kind of gauge the crowd. Yeah. Like at LA Comic Con, it was kind of tough. I mean, I still made some money, but it was tough because we had the Clippers game going on. Parking was up to like $40 to $70. By the time people got in, they were like, dude, my wallet's already hurting. Screw this, So, I mean, but that's a special situation, but most situations aren't like that. So most people like buy the books. The only other situation that I could say is kind of similar to that would be actually a moneymaker would be San Diego Comic Con, because everybody wants to go.
Yeah.
So you have that going to your advantage.
All right, let me hit these comments up real quick. I think with my interns just posted a link to some stuff that we do at shows. But then Tyrell says we have to suck at selling stuff and are looking for an excuse as to why. And he says, Facebook kicked me out for a minute. Okay, he's back. David's here. Hello. One of my interns says it's all about the pipeline. And for those of you that know me, every show I go to, any of the big mainstream comic book conventions, I do the hype line. And the hype line consists of when everybody's lined up and waiting to go into the show, 45 minutes and after before it opens up, I go out there with a boom mic. I give out free items. I do trivia. I do freestyle games, all in the effort to get these people to laugh and like me and want to come back to my table. And I always end the hype line with, hey, I'm going to bribe you guys to come to my table. I have a free item just for you to come over and look at my stuff. Whether you buy something or not, I'm still going to give you this free item just to start your day off. So here's your ticket. Bring it over. Check out my books. If you buy it, you buy it. If not, we're still going to be friends. And I've had a lot of success doing that. But I get people to laugh with me, to talk with me. And a lot of my pitching, I talk to a lot of people without the intention of selling. I just talk because I like being at a comic book convention.
Yeah. What I don't like is like sometimes some artists, sometimes I've had to kind of do this too. Like some shows are really low key. So like sometimes they'll be drawing because sometimes they'll stand at attention. But I know sometimes people don't do that. So I just kind of sit down and I just draw or do whatever. Then they come up to me and then they're in a comfortable position to talk to me. It depends per crowd. But what I don't like is like when the artists go like, oh, well, nobody buys my stuff. Nobody cares. And then I walk by their table and they're just like.
Christy, I feel like you and me are like long lost sister and brother. Like a lot of stuff. It's like this is all the stuff that I think and say. I was going to a local show here in Columbus, and my I'm an alumni to the Columbus College of Design, and they had a table there. And I walked past that table 9 times, and not one student looked up at me, not one student said hello, not one student tried to pitch to me. So I finally came back over the 10th time, and I looked at their stuff. I'm like, man, this is really good stuff. It would have been great if you would have spoke to me the other 9 times. I probably would have bought it. And then they finally looked up, and I'm like, yeah, man, like, you guys got to talk to people. Like, you can't just sit here with your head facing down, like drawing on a pad. A convention is about meeting people. And that's one of the reasons I started my internship. I've been doing it for the last 5 years with CCAD. Is just you got to look up, you got to conversate, you got to talk to people. You can't not try to work the crowd and then complain about how you didn't make any money or the convention didn't help you make any money. The convention's job is to get people in the room. It's your job to sell to those people.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, I mean, there's one thing, as I said, if it's a lower key show, sometimes like you're just there and you're just drawing like this, you know, but you kind of keep an eye out. And like, if a person comes up to your table, you're like, oh, hi, you know, you don't need to be like all in their face. You say, oh, hi, how's it going? And then you kind of play off them. It's like having a conversation with some stranger or something.
Yeah.
You know, you can't like, it's not one of those things where it's like, it's a rocket science. It's just like, you just have to interact with people.
Yes. Yeah, and a lot of people aren't comfortable with that, and it takes some practice. It takes being an outgoing person. You have to be able to open up your mouth and speak. Geronimo Mooney has joined us. That is my brother from back home in Cleveland.
Nice.
And he says, what's up? How you doing? Andy says, book were meant to be touched. They don't bite. Well, the Necronomicon might, but most won't. Jerome says that started at Cedar Point. And yes, without me realizing what it was, we used to go to Cedar Point every year, and we would get hyped in the line. So he has a very valid point. It started back there in its beginnings.
Yeah.
No more gangsta Pokemon rap. Andy, he's talking to Xander. Natasha's here. Hello, how you doing? Daniel said what happened to the stream.
Yeah, it was like the video interrupted, I noticed. So I tried refreshing it on my end, and I don't know what happened. Broadcast hasn't been paused. It's probably the feed. The feed has been kind of wonky. Sometimes I've run into that in mine. So just like continue on and see how that's going on.
Yeah. I'm refreshing it on my side too. If you guys are trying to watch, it's still up on YouTube. And I think if you refresh your page, it'll come back on. Yeah, it looks like it's still going on the Facebook page as well.
Yeah.
I'm not being interrupted.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see. Any questions? All right. So we may not have any more questions. So let me actually let's hit our actual talking points now. I think like we're having a really great conversation right now, as is.
Yeah. The black cat has emerged.
Hello, cat.
Yeah.
All right. So movies in your home. Oh, so Christy. So we're seeing the format of things changing to accommodate what's going on with the virus and stuff like that. And something that I think is very interesting is that a lot of the movies that were being released in the theaters are being released straight to digital, whether that is
I think
$20 release on video on demand or going straight for digital release. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think this is going to help the community? Do you think this is something that can stay around, or do you think this is a bad idea?
Personally, I think it's an adjustment right now. It's kind of hard to tell like what's going on long term. I know we tend to think about these things. We are creatures that are saying, "Oh, if we change our habits." Sorry, my cat slipped. Yeah, she's like this. So like, yeah. So for me, this thing, I think it's an adaptive thing. So we easily switch to streaming because we have to be at home. How that's going to be in the future, it's hard to tell. I do think that we need to go and have a higher capacity for streaming and all that, but we've always needed to and complained about that in this country. But I think like there's got to be another way to interact. And like at cons, we interacted in our own nodes, but now since of the COVID, we're kind of at this place where we're kind of going like, okay, well, I can't talk to you face to face. How can I do it? Well, I can do it here. And this seems more daunting because we're not in a crowd of people, but we're in we're kind of in the crowd of our mini crowds. But then the is that you also have the unseen people. Like I was going to hit it up earlier where the crowds of the thing is that I've had friends that told me, oh yeah, I see all your work. I don't hit like, but I watch what you're doing. So the fact that you have people that watch, that's a different thing. So you just don't have a real increment because they're not physical people like around you in a physical space. This is an internet space, so we don't know. So I think essentially like right now it's kind of been pushed up to do what it needs to be done right now. How that will evolve, only time will tell. I kind of have a weird feeling, and I know some people will kind of like hem and haw this. I don't think it'll last much longer just due to necessity wise. Like the whole world cannot stay shut down. We're going to find a way to do it because like we don't choose to live this way. We don't want to live this way. It might change a few things around, but I think it's kind of a reset button on some level. And again, I'm not trying to minimize the economic damage or I'm not saying that. Okay. I'm just thinking like outside of that, because we've heard, oh, the economic damage or the health damage over mental sick. Okay. But let's take a step back. It's just, okay, maybe this is a reset button for us to think about. And I mean, we can't stay isolated forever. This thing is going to run its course, whether it's sooner or later. But I mean, that's how it is with every major pandemic that we've had or plague or whatever. We had horrifying results, and then they've gotten a lot less fucked in some ways. Like Black Plague, you saw people dying in the streets. That's what I mean. COVID, you don't see them dying in the streets. They are dying, but they're not like collapsing in the streets full of sores and things like that. We know better. So it's a lot more removed from us. But sometimes I think we're probably just going to find a way to adapt to it. We always have. For me to speculate that to a point where it's like solid, I can't do at this moment. I know that's more online thing. I know people are jumping on that, and that's a natural part of things. But that's what I've always been doing with the lunch hours and things like that. And I just keep pushing it. I just keep pushing it. But even talking or private messaging people personally will cause like sales for me. Like even with my Kickstarter, even though I did the original hashtags, even though I did all these other things, the end goal is that sometimes a lot of my sales, I talked with people. Like I had a person that gave me a donation recently, and I talked to him and he said, oh yeah, what's your PayPal? I said, oh, it's this. And we talked a little bit, and then he just gave me a donation. It was nice. So it's just like personal conversations are still existing, even if they're over the keyboard, even if they're over Skype, even if they're on the phone, they exist still. It's just in a different form for right now.
Excuse me for 1 second.
Sure.
Looks like we're not live.
Oh.
So what I'm going to do is end this broadcast. I'm going to re-invite you to a fresh one because people are now messaging saying, hey, where are you guys at? I'm going to end this one, and I'm going to send you back another invite, and we'll do it. We'll pick up right where we left off.
Okay.
All right.